What is up there, workforce? Chris here with Work to Game, and I wanted to talk about everything we know about the Google Stadia. Now, this came out of GDC 2019, going right into E3. It's an exciting time of year for technology as we look at everything from an Apple announcement to the Google announcements to E3 announcements. Us Final Fantasy players are getting a live letter as we prepare for an expansion. I mean, there's just so much going on in the world, so hopefully whatever it is you're interested in is getting updated. But today we are talking about the Stadia. So the Stadia is actually Google's chance to kind of come in and say that they've finally solved for cloud gaming. So if you haven't been following it so far, cloud gaming is something that we have seen thrown out in the past. It hasn't been successful at this point, but the Stadia seems like they might have finally done it, at least to some degree. And so what they've done is they basically said that they can stream up to 4K at 60 frames a second. They have a designated controller that in theory is going to help drop latency, that it sounds like it's going to be free up to 1080p, or at just $10 a month to do 4K. They're going to have a founders pack that'll launch this November for $129, which will give you access to the $70 controller as well as 3 months of the $10. And then I think you might be getting I don't know. You're going to be getting a limited edition, and they're going to have games on it. We don't really know the full lineup. We do see games starting to say they're coming out on it, like Destiny 2, like Final Fantasy 15, like the new Tomb Raider game from Final Fantasy, and they have just a whole host of developers that say that they're going to be on this. I don't see anybody yet looking like they're going to make this their premium platform. Final Fantasy 15, for example, in my opinion, is a great way for Square Enix to say, here's a game that we care a lot about, but meanwhile, like around the same time that we're pushing Octopath Traveler onto Steam and stuff, we'll just let you have Final 15. If you do this well, then we can talk about things like, maybe sometime next year when it goes public to everybody, maybe there is a time down the road that we could talk about Final Fantasy 14 running on it, that we can talk about the many other games that Square Enix owns, and I think every other developer will view it the same way. So if Bethesda announces another Elder Scrolls game, it may or may not be on the Stadia, but maybe that's a chance for them to say, it's not going to be on the Stadia, but now Skyrim will, just like they've allowed that to kind of move to the Switch and everything else. A developer's job is to protect the quality of the experience, and so until we know a little more, I'm excited to see the number of games that we have, but it doesn't necessarily mean that everything is going to move over right away. Now, they have had a lot of beta testers. They say that, as low as I think it's like 10 megabits down, you should be able to get it at 720p. They are trying to protect 60 frames per second across all bandwidths. That seems to be just the primary focus there. They do believe on their current setup, that the way it's set up, that one day you could have 8K resolutions and 120 frames per second, but right now that's not going to be available. I know that in my household, there's only one screen that even is above 1080p, so I know that for the majority of gamers and stuff, that either you're not going to have the bandwidth to support 4K, or B, you're not going to want to pay the $10 a month if the 1080p is free and has access to things. The games aren't going to all be free. It's not a Netflix model for $10 a month. It's going to be, okay, we have a few, and then, picture like Game Passes for $15. There's a lot of games. For $10, you're going to have less games, but some, and then they'll have, if you're paying the $10, you'll get access to reduced prices on the games that are available on the platform, as opposed to the free people are going to have to pay full prices to kind of encourage that. So it sounds incredible. I mean, it does. It sounds wonderful. They're promising a million things, and they're using fancy statistics like the latency of the controller is faster than the rate at which the human eye connects to the brain. And it's like, yes, but that's really not actually that fast. When you go look that up, you're talking about like 200 millisecond ping. That's exceedingly average. So the reason we want ping that is faster than a human eye is because the moment our eye refreshes, we don't want any additional lag brought in. And so we'll have to just see exactly what you can really get. They're saying the 4K visuals are going to be on 30 megabits per second. When you go look at what other platforms recommend for that, it's oftentimes double that. And so I know that I have 100 megabits down, and so if there's any lag on their part, I'm going to be really frustrated. But the megabits down doesn't necessarily guarantee me good ping. It doesn't necessarily guarantee me that. So in theory, this will run on like 5G. In theory, this will run on phones. It'll run on tablets. It'll run on. You won't need anything. So, what games can you play? Assassin's Creed Odyssey. They've already shown it several times. You go out to YouTube. You're watching a trailer or whatever. It says, "Hey, play the game now." You just hop right in. Super super cool. Imagine watching your favorite streamer. They say, "Hey, I'm looking to pick some people up for my next round of whatever game has multiplayer that they're playing," and you can just hop right in. Anno 1800 could be on there. That's a game that I never got to try, but was always, the Anno kind of universe is something that I've been interested in. Doom Eternal, Rage 2 looks like it could be on there. These are the in theory confirmed list. It doesn't mean that they'll be there right away. I'm sure some of these may be a little slow out of the gate, but we'll just see. I'm trying to keep myself conservatively optimistic. Elder Scrolls Online, Destiny 2, just kind of picking out the highlights for me. Farming Simulator 19, if you haven't played that, it's shockingly fun. Baldur's Gate 3, I'm really excited about this. Final Fantasy 15, the new Tomb Raider game, the Definitive Edition, and Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, NBA 2K. They showed some of the multiplayer in a previous announcement. That was very cool. The reason I'm not showing a lot of footage here is I'm not sure what Google will copyright strike. So if you're looking for footage, I encourage you to go out and look at all the footage that Google themselves has updated and what a lot of the major outlets have clearly gotten permission to upload. Mortal Kombat 11, that's one of the ones that I think will really reveal a lot of whether or not the latency is as good as they say it is. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Just Dance could be super fun to be able to just pick up anywhere. Ghost Recon Breakpoint, The Division 2, Trials Rising, and The Crew 2. The Crew is a racing game that's super fun, and I'm bummed didn't do better. I got it, and then I just didn't have that many friends to play with. So this could be the beginning of removing. I mean, if you think about cost standpoint, $10 a month is $120 a year. $120 a year over an average console lasting, let's say, 5 years is $600. An Xbox is, let's say, $300 out of the box, and then you pay $60 a year for your Xbox Live over 5 years. That's $300. 300 plus 300, you're back at 600. And so this could be a way to not have the upfront cost that is a barrier to entry for a lot of people. Like, how do you come up with, because your initial purchase is $300 plus the initial $60. So coming up with $360 before you even buy a game is a big chunk of money, especially when, I know that I was buying my first games when I was on allowance. I was mowing lawns. I was babysitting younger kids that lived up the street. And so $360 was a lot of money. And the idea that I could just come up with $10, and then if I ever don't like it, the cool thing about this is it puts the onus on them to keep me, because if I ever don't like it, I just turn it off. It's done. As opposed to with my Xbox, where I kind of commit to that ecosystem every time I buy a new generation of console. So the fact that I have an Xbox, the fact that I have a PlayStation 4, these are commitments that I've made to at least somewhat respect their ecosystem, where I feel kind of pot committed. So this could definitely put pressure on the gaming industry. I don't know that it's going to be the game changer. I don't know that it's going to be something that defines gaming as the core experience, but I do think it's going to change it the way mobile gaming has changed gaming. I do think it's going to change it the way a new genre changes it, the way the Battle Royale is changing it, the way MMOs changed it before that, the way MOBAs have changed it. I think it's going to be an option that's going to draw a lot of players in. My concern has to do a lot with latency. It has to do a lot with refresh rate. It has to do a lot with lag. Dropping a few frames is a big deal, and so how stable it's able to be around my internet connection, it puts a lot of pressure on them. My console can kind of fake it, right? And so I might die in a shooter game, but if I see the screen stutter, I don't know exactly what all's going to happen here. I know that if I watch a movie and I get a spinning wheel even once in the middle of it, it's incredibly frustrating, and that's not me losing progress in a game. That's not me losing the game-winning kill in a first-person shooter, or losing a round of Mortal Kombat, or dying to a boss that I've been spending hours trying to get to in an RPG. And so they're on thin ice. I think that it has the chance to be really incredible, but I don't know that it's going to have a lot of slack. And so it kind of has to work right out of the box, in my opinion. They are being very clever by doing the Founders Pack, where for the $129 or $130 or whatever, you're going to get a really cool $70 controller. You're going to get, kind of a chance to play free. Well, they say play free, but like nobody else is going to be able to get in right away. For everybody else, it's going to open up in 2020. So they say, in November, the Founders Pack people are going to get to play free. It's like, well, yes, but in November, only the Founders Pack people are going to be on. So they're going to keep the number of players fairly small. It should be kind of a soft open for them. You're talking about kind of early adopters. So for the $129, you're talking about people that are hopefully pretty excited about this. I could see how the press could get out of hand and be really negative if you get a bunch of YouTubers and Twitch players that get on this, and on day one it just doesn't work, and on day two it just doesn't work, and they go to play a game and they go to stream a game to YouTube on Google Stadia and it doesn't work. They're promising all sorts of things, like I should be able to basically cut out my capture card. I should be able to just push this straight to YouTube, which is incredible. I could send 4K to you guys. I can't stream in 4K. I don't have the upload for it at my house, and it's not available in my neighborhood without paying for fiber. So I have to up my internet bill a ton to do that. And the idea that you guys would be getting it from the server the same time it was being sent to me means now, like, I'm not wasting any bandwidth. I'm not wasting any computer resources, any electricity, anything on my end. I'm getting my picture the same time as you guys are getting it. And so, I have a lot of questions around that. Can I put a webcam up on top of it? What's the latency? How are you syncing it up with my face? Because, if there's any lag there, how are you going to be getting it? And you're going to be seeing the gameplay at the same time chat's going out, but then my face is way behind, so you're seeing my reactions. I have a lot of questions about that side of things, the creator side of things. And then I have questions about how are you going to handle games. I think it's interesting that the initial lineup includes combat games, racing games, shooting games. It includes a lot of the games that I think are going to test the flexibility here. So this is kind of the exciting announcement getting into the E3 season. Those are kind of my thoughts on it. As of now, I mean, I can tell you I'm interested. The $129 is not an outrageous fee to get in. So like to say that Brian and I wouldn't, see if between the two of us we can toss $129 into this pot. It's intriguing. I don't know that we'll go for it, but it's intriguing. And for it's going to have the ability to play with a guest, and it's going to have the ability to connect to your other controllers. So I've got an Xbox controller on here. I've got my PlayStation controllers. In theory, it should take those. They just say their controller is going to obviously function a little bit better because they're saying that it piggybacks off the Wi-Fi and then connects directly to the game, so it's not getting pushed like through my computer and then out to the game. So obviously, the fact that we're playing on the cloud means the less steps between us and the cloud, the better, because we're already not playing local. So I'm super interested in this. I'm super interested in how easy it is to pick it up and say, I pause it off my TV, I pick it up on my tablet. They show those features, but I just want to see it in action. So what do you guys think? Is this something that interests you? I'm hesitantly, conservatively optimistic. I want this to be where gaming is headed. I think this is really something neat to think that there's a day when we don't have to buy hardware anymore, that we just buy TVs and we're done. It feels like one of those moments that could really be like, wow, the future is here. The fact that I carry around a phone that's more powerful than the computers from when I was a kid, this is one of those big advances, and it's something that's been promised by many and has not been delivered. And so could Google do it? Could Xbox be the first ones to do it? I don't know. There's still a lot of players in the space, but I think it's exciting to see somebody pushing the bar forward, whether or not they trip and fall. And I really appreciate what Google is doing here, even if I don't end up being somebody who spends a lot of time on the Stadia, because it just doesn't offer the experience that I personally am looking for in gaming. So let me know down in the comments below what you guys are thinking. Would you try the Stadia? Would you try the Founders Edition? Would you wait till 2020 and try it for free? Would you, if they make you buy one game, would you buy one game? Would you consider the $10 a month? Is that something that interests you? I know a lot of people out there, especially PC gamers, like, oh, I already play in 4K now. I'm not going to play in less than 4K. It's like, okay, well then, is $10 a month worth that? So I'm very much interested to kind of hear what people's thoughts are on this and see where the community is leaning, because it's a lot of people have made their mind up, and I'm just interested to see where people feel they are today, and then where people feel they are a year from now, after we're through the Founders Pack, after it's live. What does the community look like, and has that changed from where we were today, or is that just literally playing out as planned? So my name is Chris with Work to Game. Have a fantastic day. Enjoy the E3 weekend, and for you Final Fantasy players out there, get ready for the last live letter as we prepare to go into Shadowbringers. My name is Chris with Work to Game. Have a fantastic day. and I'll see you next time.
Hey, it's me. Thanks so much for watching this video. You should click over here to see more videos just like it, or you should click down here to check out our recent vlog. But you can also click somewhere down here below to hit the subscribe button, as well as check out our other info. Again, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.